Welcome to the channel. Now this is a real strange one for me because I'm in the East End of London at a place called Tipping Point East. This place is like something I've been longing to come and see because it's like a circular construction material hub. They're reusing stuff from films, they're reusing stuff from building sites. It's coming here, it's been repurposed, and it's going to be reintroduced into the construction industry, which I think is fantastic. And part of that, today, we've got a travelling sawmill from Wales, which has literally come here to process timber here on site. And this isn't a joke, but I'm actually joined by Tom and Jerry, okay? And you've travelled up from Wales to actually process...
Devon.
Yeah, Devon him, Wales me.
Devon and Wales, which is even more interesting, to process sequoia.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to think you're here in East London, okay? You're used to being in forests, right where the timber is, and you are here now in East London, and you're doing exactly what you do anywhere in the country.
Yeah, anyway, basically, yeah.
So when I got the opportunity to come up and meet the guys and have a quick look at what they're doing, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they've travelled all the way up here with the kit. How long does it take you to set it up?
Me and the boys got in Monday. Basically, well, we were milling within, what, 20 minutes again, yeah? 30 minutes again, yeah?
Didn't take very long.
Doesn't take very long.
Tell me a little bit about, first of all, what you're all about.
National Sawmills is a combination of a few things. We are the individuals that are responsible for bringing Peterson sawmills into the country.
This is the machine that you've got behind us. Yeah,
correct.
We'll take a look at that in a minute.
Yeah, and the other part is a working collective.
Right.
So there is an operation that happens in Scotland.
Yeah.
Of course, Jones's in Wales, and mine in Devon.
Yeah.
The interest, I guess, for us is there's always this misconception that there is a very difficult ability to access markets.
Right.
With using machines such as this.
Right.
And by coming here to Tipping Point, we're hoping to really kind of dismantle that misnomer.
I think it's the perfect example of doing exactly what you're talking about. The fact that you are doing something right here in central London very quickly. You've not set a massive workshop up. You've turned up and in half an hour or so you're milling timber, okay, with a machine that I believe started its life in New Zealand.
Yes.
So it's even more of an elaborate story. And if I'm really pushing for elaborate stories, you're Tom Jones as well.
I am Tom Jones as well,
so it's absolutely fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the machine. Tell us about why this machine is so special.
Basically, what this machine does is it unlocks the ability to convert plus size timber. So the problem with the market that we've got is our commercial grade sawmills are set up to process a timber of a certain size.
Are we talking about the size of the trunk?
Both diameter and length. What's happening is because sawmills aren't taking the slightly bigger stuff, slightly too heavy stuff, logistically awkward stuff, there's a gap in the market where that can be converted with a sawmill like this.
All right, so what would happen to that otherwise?
It'd just get chipped. So it'd be chopped up, cone split, and then put through a massive lorry chipper and sent for biomass.
For fuel, which is a shame because, I mean, people watching this might think, really? You'd actually chop something, chip it up and send it away? I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, realistically...
It has its place.
Yeah.
Well,
you've obviously got byproducts, so that's good for
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
So while you've been here, what have you produced for the guys at Tipping Point East?
We've been running specifically either 8x2 or 3x2. So basically, these timbers are going to go into projects locally, or as locally as possible for being in the centre of London.
Marlborough Community
Sports Centre.
Construction timber.
Yeah.
It's a lattice roof.
So all this will be graded.
All that beautiful colour is going to come through.
Yeah.
Sequoia's got this incredible colour from sort of golden right down to dark purple. And I know it changes as it dries out. It uniforms up a bit, but that's going to be beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think the whole point of this place, like you said, you're recycling misused or discarded materials from film sets, building sites, that sort of thing. It's exactly the same as what we are doing, just with awkward trees.
I think that what blows my mind the most, right, is you look at London. London doesn't produce, it consumes. And by doing this in the centre of London, this is a different story. And I think this should be portrayed out more because.
Well, that's obviously why we get here on YouTube.
Thank you.
Because although we're not like TV networks, we have got amazing viewers who really love this stuff. It might not be for everyone, but there are people who really appreciate this as well, and people are fascinated by how does this stuff get to us. It's too easy to go down to your local hardware supermarket and buy some timber.
Well, that's
understanding
almost
the whole thing.
Yeah, that's almost the point of this, is that we do this to show that it can be done, because lots of people, not because they're naive or just they think it happens a different way, they just don't know it can be done.
Fine.
Does that make sense? So by showing them that, that
You're
gives
right.
them the option to say, oh well, actually we could use this.
Yeah.
And so you could rock up in a big forest somewhere. You could set yourselves up.
Yeah.
You don't need power other than battery
just
tools for setups and
Go
fuel.
juice.
Okay, so it's fuel.
No battery tools needed.
Right, so you set up
Couple
in
of spanners.
a forest. Let's take a little look at the machine.
So this is basically our WPF 8-inch model. So basically that means it will cut a full depth of 8 inches. So dimensional timber will do up to 8 by 8, or it'll also do 16 by 8. So basically by double cutting. So the way the saw works, unlike a bandsaw mill, which has 2 basically flywheels to drive a belt like a band, uses a circular saw blade. Cuts the horizontal cut, and then once you get out the other side, so that realistically that is the benefit with this mill, aside from the fact as well, blade maintenance, machine maintenance is a lot cheaper in the long run. The beauty of this mill is, if you get to the edge of the board and you cut in for 8 bys and you get to there, and all of a sudden you can't get an 8 by out of that side, you just alter your cut-in distance and get a 6 by or a 4 by or 3 bys, 2 3 bys. With a bandsaw mill, if that band isn't like absolutely crispy, like nice, fresh, perfect set, if you hit a knot like these, what happens is that's automatically harder because that's end grain than the long grain. So you tend to get this. You get a bump in it.
So now place that knot in the middle of a tree. You're going to then devalue
that. Yeah. Basically, we were talking about this earlier. I was going to get onto that with grade. So basically, I can cut around knots and defects. So if I have like core dit, or if I have a bark inclusion, which is no good for structural, or it's just not what you want, I just hop over how far the knot is, cut the knot out, and then get back to my 8 bys. I think it's just the machine is very versatile because it moves in 2 axes. The up and the across is basically what gives you your dimensional timber.
How did you describe it the other day? It's like an etch-a-sketch on what?
Steroids. Also, to be fair, the versatility of the machine, so this will allow you to process a timber up to 6 foot wide. You ain't moving that with normal machines. So you can take the mill to the log, set the mill up and cut it there and then. But we also do a clip-on slabber, so if you want to do really wide slabs, it's like a chainsaw bar that cuts up to, I think it's 1.6 meters wide, 1.5 meters wide on this one. And we also do a planer head, so that when you've got finished boards or finished timbers and you want to, save yourself the time making a router sled or, that sort of thing, it's a 300mm router bit basically, with a 20-something odd horsepower Honda engine.
So it looks like
it flattens quick.
It looks like you can cut oversized stuff.
Yeah.
How do you cut small stuff?
Stack them, mate. Everyone always thinks that because the saw is designed for large timber, everyone always thinks that it's only ever going to be good at large timber. Whereas I find you can process smaller timber, and what you do is you set it up in like a triangular pattern. So you'd lay, like say you're doing larch of sort of 18-inch diameter, you can lay 6 down, then was it 4?
A 3, a 2 and a 1?
3, a 2 and a 1. And you just stack it up like a triangle and just rip your boards out that way.
There's one thing I'd like to point out. The recovery rate on oversized material is substantial. So you're really unlocking an ability to add value to something that is typically neglected.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that is where this thing shines.
Yeah, it comes into its own, basically. So the beauty of this is, take for example, so this is 28 including.
Yes.
Ish.
Yeah,
Right?
28.
Which in the grand
VAT.
scheme of things, for a sawmill that can produce timber as quick, as efficient, and you know the size that we are, is not a bad price point, to be honest with you. Because if you wanted a bandsaw mill that could mill this,
No, it doesn't exist.
doesn't exist. Well, we've got site in Devon, site in Scotland, site in Wales, another site in Wales technically. You were looking to get one middle bit.
Yeah, I'd
Englishy
like.
bit?
Yeah, I'd like to. Devon's also in England, by the way. I'd like to get one on the east of the UK. That is proving difficult, but of course, it's you know we're open to collaboration. The whole point of this is to get
People working together again.
yes, and more small scale production. That's I think something that's complementary to the.
I think
this
is all come about a bit mental, really, because me and Jerry aren't salesmen. We've never been into big business. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? Hey, I thought you were a big enough deal. You could have just rung them to shut it down for a bit, surely. Yeah, so like
this didn't happen through a strategy.
No, there was
by
no
any
strategy, there was
means.
no planning. To be honest with you, like, usually the types of people that import these machines are people who are already in the game, importing and selling and distributing large pieces of equipment like telehandlers, like tractors, like chippers, like trailers, right? And Peterson took a punt on two idiots who just like sawmilling and who like working together. And, you know, at the end of the day, we've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt.
We don't have departments.
No.
Modest
You're looking at it.
amount of us, including you know the individuals in Scotland and so forth. And in reality, where we earn our stripes is being backup. Backup is that ability where you can phone, you can email, you can text, with a guarantee that within 24 hours you're gonna have a response, and hopefully
No guarantees the right response, right? Just,
he will provide you the solution.
yeah. So I'm more parts and spanner man. Jerry's a bit more. I don't know. What do you do?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's an incredible looking bit of kit. I love the fact that you've brought it here.
Oh, it fits on the back of a pickup truck, by the way.
It was set up here earlier. You've moved it over to here, all in the space of a day. You've milled loads and loads and loads of timbers, 8x2s, some slightly wider ones and some smaller ones as well. And now you're working on this log, which I'm holding you up for, so I won't hold you up too much longer. And it's robust bit of kit. I mean,
Yeah, all stainless steel.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, with a fantastic Honda engine, which you can't beat, basically.
Yeah, that's the new IGX 800 fuel injected. It's mint. What is exciting is, like I said, this is the 8-inch, but just gone through R&D. We've actually got a 12.5-inch capacity machine, 40 horsepower engine, V-twin.
And this is how many horsepower?
I'm not sure if this is about 23 to 28, something like that. I can't remember.
Right, okay, so you're talking about a big engine.
Basically a motorbike engine. It's 800cc.
Well, I think it's absolutely amazing, guys. I think you're innovative, creative, and when you consider this as a business proposition, you know, you're talking about 30 odd K for this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to buy a new van, right, for work. If I want to go and buy a basic van to replace the one I bought, which was 38 grand 10 years ago, it's going to cost me close to 50 grand, just for a van to get me to work. I know this won't drive me to work, but what I'm trying to say is we're used to making capital investments in our businesses around that sort of level all the time.
True.
So you could finance this like you could a van. In fact, machinery
Cheaper,
is
probably.
more easy to finance.
The depreciation on it is near enough non-existent.
Yeah,
So we have people that we know that have had them for 20 odd years.
Around me, there's a lot of estates, there's a lot of landowners. If they knew this stuff existed and they got into it, they could be doing all of this for themselves. They could be producing their own material. They could be producing material to stack, to sort, to put away for years to come. Right? They've become super sustainable. Thanks for inviting me down here and taking a look. I'm going to need you to get on. All right, before the next storm.
Before the heavens open again.
4 seasons in one day. welcome to the UK, guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, take it easy, mate.
Thank you very much. I'll
you
see you again, right?
Nice to meet you.
And you.